Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at a conditional relative frequency table. So this is a conditional relative frequency table that we've got the start of one. We're going to actually complete it. So we've got some data that they've given us in this table form, and we're going to complete it and make a conditional relative frequency table. So another way to look at data, another way to analyze what's happening and whether there's some connection with the situation. So here we go. This is coming from, this is CPM, and this is CC3, course 3, and this is section 8.2.3, specifically problem 897. Okay, so I'll read this and let's make it happen. So athletes in the Middle Plains School District regularly receive personal advising on their nutrition. Coaches wondered if the nutritional advising was having an effect or an impact, so they divided athletes into two groups. One group received advice and one group did not. After 6 months, they collected the following data. So here's what we have. If we look at our table, reading our table, all of this represents a number of athletes, right? So this column here are the students that receive nutrition advice. So that's what this column. So 46 students and 89 students, those total receive nutrition advice. Of those, if we look this direction, of the 46 that receive nutrition advice, they also, excuse me, not of the 46, of all of these students, 46 of them also then regularly ate a balanced breakfast. Of the students that receive nutrition advice, 89 of them often did not eat a balanced breakfast. And then on this column, you have students that did not receive nutrition advice. So there's these set of students, looks like 112 students total. So of the 112 students that did not receive nutrition advice, 39 of them regularly ate a balanced breakfast, and 73 of them often did not eat a balanced breakfast. So let's go from here. So we interpreted the table. Now let's see what we've got for questions. A says, what is the independent variable? Well, when we think about the independent variable, we're looking at what piece would be the would be that you would have that would give you that the other piece being dependent upon it, right? If I knew this, then I could tell you this, right? So that's what independent means. So if I knew this, then I could tell you this. So that the I knew part, the beginning would be what would be independent. And the independent is what you have control over as well. So what we have control over is the students receiving nutritional advice. So our independent variable is the students receiving nutrition advice or not receiving nutrition advice. Okay, so it's I would write for our independent variable, I'm going to answer my question down here, is receiving or not receiving nutrition. Oops, misspelled that. Sorry. Nutrition advice. Okay, so students not receiving or not receiving nutrition advice is that independent variable. Okay, so B now says make a conditional relative frequency table. So what we do is we have this table, and I'm just going to redraw my table here. And from this table, now we've got to come up with our totals and percentages. That's what a conditional relative frequency table is. Okay, so we have the 46, the 89, the 39, and the 73. So what I got to do is figure out my totals and my percentages. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do it on this, just so that way I can keep my labels and I know what I have. So I would, if I was you, recopy this on your paper, okay, and then you're going to add to it extra column and extra rows. So an extra row down here and an extra column here. Okay. So an extra row and an extra column. And what does that get? Why? Because these are going to be my totals. So I would have my totals here. Those are my totals. So if I add 46 and 89, my total there would be, looks like 120, 135. My total here, 39 and 73, adds up to be 112. Then this direction, 46 and 39, adds up to be, let's see, 70, so 85. And my total here, 89 and 73, that's 162. And then what's true? These totals and these totals should add to be the same number. So we'll just double check. So 135 and 112 add up to be 147. Or excuse me, 247. And then let's check this way. Is that also 247? 85 and 162 is also 247, yes. Okay, so that if I want to know how many students total, right, there's a total of 247 students that were in this survey, if you will, or this impact study. Okay, so there was 247 students total. So I want to know my percentages, right? I want to know what percent of students each direction. So when we look at what percent of students falls in this, and this, and this, and this. So remember how to find percentage. Percentage, and I'll just really quickly write it, right? When I'm talking about, say I want to know the percent here. So finding that percent, I'm going to say 46 divided by 247. Okay, which is approximately, in this case, for sure a calculator would be useful. So that gives me 0.8186. So if I'm thinking about a percent, remember percent, then you move the decimal or multiply by 100. A percent is based out of 100. So it's going to be 18.6%. So I'm going to put that number here, 18.6%. So then I do the same thing with the 89, right? So again, 89 out of 247 is approximately, so I'm going to take 89 divided by 247, and I get approximately 0. And I say approximately because I'm rounding, right? So I get approximately 0.36, and it's 0 here, so I'll just keep it there. So if I look at my percent in this case would be 36%. So this is 36%. And then 39, so again, what is 39 over 247? Do the division. 39 divided by 247 is 0.15, and I'm going to round to the nearest thousand. 8, which is then 15.8%, because when you multiply by 100, right, you move the decimal place twice when you multiply by 100. So this one is 15.8%. And then the last one is 73 over 247. So 73 divided by 247 is approximately 0.29, I'm going to round 6, so which is 29.6. Okay, so if I write that, that's my percent, so I'm going to write 29.6%. So here's my frequency, my conditional relative frequency table. And then I said, it asks, is there association between receiving nutritional advice and regularly eating a balanced breakfast? So do I have an association between receiving nutritional advice and the regularly balanced breakfast? If I look, the same percentage of students that either receive nutrition, approximately the same, right? So there's 18.6% of the students that receive nutrition advice also ate a breakfast, right? Also ate a regular breakfast. Those that did not receive advice, which is 15.8%. So they're very close. It's almost the same amount of students, the same percentage of students, whether they received nutrition advice or not, ate a regular breakfast. So that kind of tells me that no, I don't think there's an association here. And in fact, if you look at it, receiving nutrition advice, there's more percentage of students that did not eat balanced breakfast. So it's almost like that advice really didn't even help. So it didn't. You would think that this number would have been higher than this number based on the fact that the nutrition advice would hopefully lead them to eat a balanced breakfast, but it doesn't look like that's happening. And whether they did receive nutrition advice or not, you have the same amount, just about the same amount of students that are eating a regular balanced breakfast. So I'm going to say there's no association. No association. Okay, there you go.